We're going to talk about Hong Kong today. Hong Kong is one of the most beautiful places in the world, and it used to belong to Britain. Short, quick history. If you want to know the ins and outs of this history, go look it up yourself, because we don't have time for it in this video. But basically, there was Opium Wars around 1898, and as part of a thing during the Opium Wars, there was a deal where we were given Hong Kong, we the British, were given Hong Kong for 99 years. Why it couldn't have been a square 100 is anybody's guess, but anyway, we were given Hong Kong for 99 years. 99 years came and went, and in 1997 we had to give it back. We didn't want to give it back. We actually begged them to say, you know, can we have it for a bit longer? But China were like, no way. No. So we gave it them back. We weren't happy about it. We, the British, weren't happy about it. The Cantonese weren't happy about it. I wasn't happy about it because I love Hong Kong and I wanted it to stay with the British. But it didn't. It went back. And everything was fine. And the British said, well, can we at least make a deal as to how this handover is going to work? And the Chinese, yeah, okay. And they made a deal which said that as long as you understand that we are in control, you may carry on going as you are going. Just do things the way you're doing. Do trade the way you're doing. Just do everything the way you've been doing. Just remember that we're in charge, you know. But that only happens for 50 years, which brings us to 2047. In 2047, the Chinese take complete control and it becomes literally Chinese again. That we won't be doing anything the way it was done the British way. It'll all become Chinese, and there will be, you know, the Chinese will deal with everything, they'll make the rules and everything else. So they said you can carry on, you can have your free elections and everything else, and it's all gone tits up because they've broken that deal. There were supposed to be free elections a while back, and unfortunately they weren't that free because they said, oh sure, you can have an election, a free election, as long as you choose from the 3 candidates we give you. You know, you don't choose your own candidates, we give you 3 and you have to choose from among them. That's not a free election. A free election where you choose your own candidates and let them take part and do what they want. And they didn't. They said, no, these are the 3, choose from among these 3, you know. And so there was a whole protest about that. The umbrella protest was big, and they were saying, look, this is not on, we should be having these free elections, and it just completely ran out of control. Then, as if that wasn't bad enough, they were protesting over the last couple of days. Now, one thing you need to understand is the people of Hong Kong are always protesting every year on the anniversary. On the 30th of June, they're always protesting because they didn't want it to go back to China in the first place. I'm totally with that. But sometimes they will protest about specific things as well. So first there were the umbrella protests about the elections. This time, it's about something a lot more serious. Elections are serious, yes, but this is worse. Carrie Lam, who's in charge, said, we're going to make this legislation which says that if you are suspected of a crime or you are charged with a crime, you will be sent over to the mainland for the Chinese authorities to deal with you. We won't deal with you here, we will send you straight back to Hong Kong, back to China. You'll be gone to mainland China and the Beijing authorities can deal with you. Believe me, I would not want to be dealt with by the Beijing authorities, thank you very much. And everyone's kicking off about this because they're saying, look, you're ceding authority to China. I thought the whole point was we carried on the way we were going, and this was not anything to do with China yet until 2047, which is quite true. So, fine. I can see why they're upset. I think it's ridiculous as well. She's temporarily suspended this, but they wanted to get rid of it altogether, and I'm totally with them on that. However, the thing I'm not totally with is the way they are doing this. If they do it the way other people do it, like Extinction Rebellion, for instance, yeah, who stood there, chanted, and made speeches and all this sort of stuff, but they actually were well behaved, fine. But they didn't. They went and smashed things up, they tried to break into the legislative building, they caused a riot, they graffitied on things. Sorry, but that's when you lose my sympathy. While you're protesting ostensibly, that's fine. But after that, if you start doing all this stuff, you suddenly become a vandal and you are a public nuisance and you should be arrested and dealt with. Not by the Chinese authorities, but you should be arrested and dealt with. I do not agree with violent protesting, because then it's not protesting, it's just violence, and you're there just being a public nuisance, basically. So, I agree exactly with what is going on in regard to what they're protesting about. I do not agree with the way they're doing it. Just as in the Troubles, God forbid we should bring this into a discussion about the Troubles, but here we go. I understood why they wanted to reunite Ireland with Northern Ireland and so on. However, with bombs and bullets, no. You talk about it, you discuss it, you try and do it without violence. So I understood what they were after, but I didn't like the way they were doing it. I thought it was awful. That's just not the way to go about anything at all. And when the Troubles finally were over, I just was so pleased. I was thank God. Yeah, they've learned to do it, and they've learned to do it sitting down at a table and trying to, excellent. Oh, come on, we need to get Stormont up and running again, please. Anyway, this is the same. Your motives, yes. The way you're doing it, no. So what are we going to do about this? Well, the one thing these protesters need to remember is they are not Britannia's daughter anymore. You can't just do it your own sweet way like you did before. Because if this legislation goes through, you're going to be in big trouble. Because not only are you going to be dealt with more severely, by the time, if this thing goes through, this is going to be another Tiananmen Square. We've had that, we don't need it again. Have they not learned anything from that? As far as I know, the people in Hong Kong know about Tiananmen Square. The people on the Chinese mainland don't, but as far as I know, the people in Hong Kong do. And they should really remember that, and, because the more they carry on doing this, the more the Chinese authorities are going to get really, really pissed off. They're going to come into Hong Kong and they're going to deal with this. And they're going to deal with it in the most brutal way possible. Because in 1989, they brought the army in, there were tanks, there were gunshots, it was not pretty. I remember watching Kate Adie's report on it, and it was absolutely horrific. I would not like to see that happen on Hong Kong. I would not like to see that happen again, ever. So, yeah, I understand where you guys are coming from, but maybe less violence, maybe a little more protesting, a little less violence, please. But all I can say is, come on, guys, come on, China. You made a promise to the people of Hong Kong. Maybe you should stick with it, okay? Then we won't have to... If you kept your promises, they wouldn't be doing all this nonsense. So, keep your promises if you don't want the protesters. But to the protesters, I understand what you're after. But please, no more violence, okay? Just stand there. If you want to protest, that's fine. I go with that. But just stand there. March if you want to, But no more violence, okay? Can we just stop this whole silly thing and just sort this out? Because when you start being violent, you sort of lose my sympathy. I want to sympathise with you, but until you stop being violent, you've got no sympathy. So yeah, there are my 2 points. One, we need to stop the protesters being violent. They need to stop that. And on the other, China, you really need to stop this your own way by, not by going in there and sorting them out, but by sticking to the deal that you made, which says they could have their free elections and they will be dealt with the Hong Kong authorities, not by the people of China, if that makes sense. So, there we go. Oh God, I'd love to go to Hong Kong. Anyway, that's my opinion on Hong Kong. So again.